Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, July 14th, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the LaCroix Poppy himself, aka my fellow Forbes 30 under 30, aka Tim fucking Geddes.
Good to be here with you today, Bless. A rare Friday appearance of Tim and Bless.
Well, it is rare because today is Thursday.
Fucking goddamn it. Really?
No.
No.
Yeah, man. You're not there yet. You're not there yet. We got one more day left in the week. I know this is a long one, isn't it? It just keeps going and going. Hang in there, Tim.
Oh, I'm here. I'm happy to be here on a rare Thursday appearance with you, Bless.
On a rare Thursday appearance with Tim. Tim, can you guess what song I have stuck in my head based on me seeing your shirt this morning?
Oh, I was gonna say Airplanes by B.O.B. before you said my shirt, but
good guess, but no.
Maybe Lucky. I'm gonna go Lucky.
No, you should have went the obvious answer. Hit me, baby, one more time.
Come on, Bless. No, that's too easy. That's too obvious.
Yeah, but like I can't. Like honestly, my mind saw, or my eyes saw your shirt, and then my mind went, "I'll hit me, baby, one more time." And I was like, certainly, I can think of any other Britney song to replace this with. And my mind just kept going back to "Hit Me, Baby, one more time." Now, what was that you pointed to?
It's the "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" single.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It even says "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." I don't know why it's so hard to look at the camera all mirrored and shit, and then poke your own body.
What? I don't like how you said "poke your own body," but what is your go-to Britney song?
I mean, they're any of the classics, honestly.
Okay.
If you want to get even more obscure, I'm a big fan of Soda Pop. The first album. Yeah. So if you want a deeper cut, Soda Pop, motherfuckers.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Toxic. I know Toxic gets a lot of love. It's not like Toxic is underrated or anything, but like Toxic is a classic. It's always my old reliable when it comes to Britney.
Let me just tell you right now, you got to watch the movie Elvis. Okay.
I know I do. I know I do. I've been listening to the Doja Cat song from that movie.
What if I told you Toxic makes a surprising appearance in the movie?
Are you serious?
It's so good. It's so goddamn good.
Goddamn. All right. I'm going to check out Elvis. But Tim, enough about Elvis, enough about Britney Spears, enough about Doja Cat. Let's talk about today's stories, which includes Skate going free to play, PlayStation's new loyalty program, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kind of Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you, a new Kind of Funny podcast, an airing of Greg Vince's, is live right now on youtube.com/kindoffunny and podcast services around the globe. It's funny because, you know, this KF podcast was me, Nick, Andy, and Joey. And I think toward the end of it, I forget if this was during the post show or if it was after the show, where we decided that any episode where Greg is gone is now just gonna be just an airing of grievances, the Festivus episode, the Gregtivus episode, where we just get in and talk about all our issues with Greg, right? Because he can't fight back. What's he gonna do? Text me in the middle of the night saying that, 13 months for a child is different from 16 months? Maybe that's what he's gonna do.
Maybe.
But I'll ignore the text. That's what I do. Of course, this weekend, come party with Greg, Joey, Snow Egg Mike, and Xbox this Friday in LA. We're taking over the Fonda Theater in Hollywood for the As Dusk Falls launch event, and you have to be there. You can RSVP right now at kindoffunny.com/Xbox. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Fargo Brady, Gordon McGuire, Nal Tribesman. Today, brought to you by ExpressVPN, MeUndies, and Athletic Greens. But we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 7 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1. Skate is going free to play. This is Jay Peters at The Verge. EA's new Skate is going to be a live service, free-to-play skateboarding game, developer Full Circle announced in a video on Thursday. That's today. Fans have been eagerly asking for some kind of Skate 3 follow-up for years, but this new title won't be the Skate 4 they might have been expecting. Instead of a numbered iteration, Full Circle is imagining Skate as a constantly evolving world with community-created content that's easy for everyone to ollie into. Quote, It's an authentic evolution of the franchise and taking what Skate 3 did in 2010 and bringing it to now into the future. Darren Chung, a creative director on Skate, said in an interview with The Verge, quote, that is not only an evolution of the franchise, but it's an evolution of where skateboarding is and was from 2010 to now, and also where games are from then to now, end quote. Skate will be available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. With crossplay and cross progression, developers are exploring a mobile version too, but the full release is still a long ways away. Quote, I think the word launch is an interesting word for us because of the way we are developing the game and the fact that we want to get players' feedback very, very early. Isabel Mocard, head of product management on Skate, said, quote, we are just very flexible with what's going to be what's going to be the list of things that will be available at launch because I think that it'll depend. It'll depend on what our fans are telling us, end quote. But Chung impressed on me that even though exactly what's in the game isn't locked yet, quote, it's going to be Skate, it's going to feel like Skate, it will be a Skate game, end quote. There's a bit more to dig into, Tim, but I want to stop there and get your immediate impressions. Free-to-play Skate, what are your thoughts?
I think the word launch is an interesting word for us because skating's more than that, man. It's a way of life, and it's really just how you gotta believe, about yourself.
You just spoke a blunt.
No, this is it's interesting. I feel like the gut reaction I have is, oh no, not like this. This feels like one of those Twilight Zone situations where it's like you have all the time to read the books, but your glasses are broken. We wanted Skate for so long, we're finally getting it, but it's free to play, which normally sounds like dirty, nasty words. The thing is, I think thinking about it a little longer, Skate's one of the few games that I think this might actually be the right call for. I think that, Skate always was a community-focused content creator type game where it is about hanging out as much as it's about playing it, right? It's kind of like having this there's a social element to the Skate games that I think free-to-play could actually enhance in a way if it's handled with care. And it seems like so far, Skate has been handled with care. All of their videos they've been posting about the behind the scenes stuff, how active they are about making sure that they're working with fans of the prior games to make sure that they get everything right, like the feel and just like what the offerings itself are. It kind of reminds me of the Dead Space remake, where it's interesting that EA simultaneously are working on these two games that are have a lot of interest, like hardcore interest from video game fans, yeah. Right? Like from these franchise fans. And it seems like they're really trying to get it right by going to the hardest of hardcore of those groups and working with them to develop a modern version of those products. One of them being a remake, this being more a refoundation of what Skate can be in the modern times. Yeah. And I think that could be cool. Them talking about it being available with crossplay, cross progression, like I understand why people would be scared about this, but I feel like we should let them prove to us this is a good decision because I feel like this one might actually pay off.
Yeah, this is one that I understand the fear that comes with it because historically Skate hasn't been free to play. Skate has been this full premium entry into its franchise that usually you are paying for a full experience. But like the article says, right, the last Skate game was in 2010 when it launched, which was an entirely different sphere, and a free-to-play game in 2010 would have been way different from what I imagine a free-to-play game to be now, right? Nowadays, when we talk about free-to-play, we talk about games like Fortnite, we talk about games like Apex Legends, which is an EA game that I would say, for the most part, is treated well, right? They've had their stumbles with Apex Legends, but a lot of us look at that game as no, this is good. Like, this is quality, this is free, it's also free-to-play, and it works for what it is. When I think about what I want a Skate game to be in 2022, being based off of Skate 3 and the evolution we saw with Skate 3 and kind of the revival we saw with Skate 3 over the years where, it came out, it, not sunsetted, but the interest in Skate 3 died down over time like any game does.
It was an old game. Yeah.
It was an old game, but then years later, Skate 3 came back because of YouTubers and content and people picking it back up just to have fun with it again. And I think that then lends to the idea that Skate can be this thing that is ever ongoing, that has an audience that doesn't leave or that wants to come back over the years with a new update or a new cosmetics or new challenges or whatever it is. When I play Skate 3, I'm not necessarily playing through the story mode. I really am picking it up and then going through the menus and going, all right, which challenges do I want to do? Let me do this, nail this trick line, or let me do this Hall of Meat challenge, right, where I try to figure out how much I can fuck up my character. I am going through those and I'm having fun, and maybe I'm hanging out with friends doing that as well. It is very much a jump in and experience it at your own pace type of game, as opposed to something that has a linear narrative or linear story or a campaign that you can go through. I think a campaign would be cool if they could have that in this new skate game, but I don't think that's hitting the core of the skate community. I think what you do to hit the core of the skate community is you make and build a game that you can add things to, like, in an ongoing basis, right? And like figure out what keeps people coming back and just cater specifically to that. And I think free to play for that could be the right move.
Yeah, I now, devil's advocate to our points, and I feel like more in line with what I feel like the majority of people are going to think about this. I do think the concern is how content bare is this going to be at launch, and how long is it going to take to not be content bare? Because I do think that free to play or not, Skate needs a pretty meaty amount of content to begin with to give people that initial swell of satisfaction that you're talking about when Skate 3 first came out, right? There has to be a full game's worth of content when it first drops, before the free-to-play stuff starts being a little bit more iterative and allowing them to have these moments to get people to pop back in, as well as serving the people that never leave. I think that's the goal for them, is to kind of continue people using Skate as a hangout spot in the same way that we've talked about for years that Fortnite has kind of been used, where people are playing Fortnite competitively, they're playing it just kind of casually to have fun, but there's also people that just boot it up just to hang out with their friends. And I feel like Skate always had that in a world that video game internet wasn't ready for, right? Like back when the old Skate games were coming out, gaming online was a very different scene, right? And it was kind of back when Modern Warfare was reinventing the rules of what console internet gaming looked like. And I feel like there was a social aspect to that has really kind of found its place in the mainstream of gaming these days. And I feel like if you apply the fun and what makes Skate special to that modern idea, I think that there's a great chance of success, again, especially with the cross-play and cross-progression. Like, the more people that want to play and hang out with their friends that are able to do that in a game like Skate, the better. That is how it's going to succeed. Then it's just on them to make sure the content is there at the beginning and throughout to keep people coming back and talking positively about it all.
1000%. And yeah, like looking back to, they had a video this morning where they talked about it being free to play and some of the thought process behind that, and also where they're at with Skate right now. One of the things they mentioned was microtransactions. I think that was the first talking point that came up, because they knew the immediate pullback that the audience would have as soon as they said the word free to play. And even as you look at when you look at the YouTube chat, if you're watching it live, everybody was like, oh no, like, don't do this, not like this, like all the stuff that you expect to see during that kind of announcement. But they then went on to say, and I'll cite from the Verge article where they talked to The Verge about it. This is on microtransactions. As for the game's business model, Mocard said the microtransactions are primarily going to be about cosmetics and convenience. Quote, I want to be very clear that it's not a pay-to-win game. There won't be any gameplay areas hidden exclusively behind a paywall. Players won't be able to buy any gameplay altering advantages. The team believes that the best business models are based on respect, trust, and transparency. And they want to create a healthy model that will allow us to continue investing back into the game, according to Mocard. The team is also planning on having things like seasonal drops and live events in the game, but we are still exploring different options. And yeah, like, a lot of that feels very like, oh, we got to say this. Like, you can say that about pretty much any free-to-play game to try and quell those fears. But again, when it comes to Skate, and when it comes to what Skate has been and what Skate can be, I look at old Skate and I'm like, Skate was ahead of its time, especially with things like what you're talking about with the Fortnite. Like, hey, this is a game that you can just hang out in with friends. Like, me and Barrett have done Skate streams on Twitch where we're just hanging out and doing random challenges and just fucking around, right? There's also the shareability aspect of Skate that they try to go for, where you could record your lines and tweet those out, or record them and share them with friends online, with your friends list and stuff. And that stuff felt, at the time, a bit early, a bit, not as
realized.
Not realized, yeah. And like a feature that I wouldn't have utilized back then, but now you give me that same feature, I'll probably use it all the time in Skate, right? I want to share all my lines. I want to share my my cosmetics, right? If I'm rocking, let's say they do an Apex partnership, or even let's get more wild, right? Let's get, if they do like a Bam Margera partnership and they get Bam in there, and I'm rocking my
I doubt
Bam
it, Wes.
costume. You don't think we'll get Bam in there?
Maybe
People
not
want Bam?
these days. Maybe
He's
not
going
these
through some
days.
real tough stuff.
Is he?
Real tough
Oh,
stuff.
oh no. All right. Well, hope it's not that bad. But let's say I don't know,
It
man.
is.
Ronald McDonald's. I'm playing as
Ronald McDonald. Yeah.
Ronald
Yeah.
McDonald costume that I'm rocking in the Skate game, and like I do a fucking dope ass, kickflip over a bench, grind into whatever rail, right? And I'm like, oh, that was sick. I want to be able to share that shit on Twitter, right? And share that shit on Instagram or wherever I want to put it. Like leaning into those aspects of Skate that they were thinking about back in, let's say, 2010, that might not have hit then, that could hit now, I think will work for it. And I think that kind of leans back into it being this free to play, ongoing, let's continue to get content in there over time style of game.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that the biggest worry here is the word convenience. Because cosmetics, sure, that makes sense, but cosmetics and convenience, what does that actually mean? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of what they're saying here is the stuff that they have to say. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Everything that the Skate team has said so far has proven to me that they get what this game needs to be and who they're making it for. So I'm not concerned about that, especially with this next thing you're about to read, which I think sounds really cool.
Yeah, so last thing I want to throw in regarding this story, they talked a bit about this thing called Collabozones. One feature the developers were excited about was what they called Collabozones, a working title, which are areas that can be collaboratively built by players and appear in other people's worlds. In Thursday's video, Full Circle showed off some examples, including an absolutely massive ramp and a structure that looked like a skyscraper tall pachinko board. Quote, "You don't know when you jump into the city what's being built, what was built, or what's going on," Chung said. They continue, quote, "You jump in and it's like, oh shit, what is that? Like a human plinko wall? I need to go check that out," end quote. And Collabozones you make will appear in the world for other people in real time. And so like they have it's essentially create a skate park stuff that you had in Tony Hawk that I assume that was there in the skate games as well, right? But like it seems like they're expanding that even more so, where collaboratively you can make bigger worlds or make bigger structures within a world, which sounds super cool. I like the idea of this pachinko wall thing.
Yeah, I mean, like this is the iterative nature that we need from Skate for everything that we've been talking about, of like using it as a hangout spot, right? Like imagine not just, oh, let's try to do that line and you and Barrett taking turns trying to figure it out, but it's also like, it'd be dope. What if we put a ramp here and try to jump this and all that? Like it brings me back to like the GTA 3 days or Vice City days, like the early GTA 3 trilogy days, where I just go to my friend's house and we would literally just create our own games of like, who can survive 6 stars the longest, who can kill the most cars, whatever, like all that dumb shit. Skate's perfect for that, right? And if you were allowed to do this, the Collabo-Zone stuff, like that sounds really, really cool.
Yeah, you mentioned it brings me back to the original GTA trilogy. It even brings me back to GTA 5 with a lot of what goes on in GTA Online with the custom games that people will make in there, where it is, oh, let's do a last team standing mode, but we'll have it so that there's 2 ramps and you get in a car and one team has snipers and the other team are trying to launch off the ramps into the snipers, right? And it's this custom game mode that people are able to build, because guess what? There's so many people in the audience that are super creative that that over time, right, will understand the game even more than the developers do in some cases, and we'll be able to push the game to its limits in those cases. Like, I can't wait to see if this takes off the way that they're talking about. I cannot wait to see what kind of custom games, kind of custom modes and custom areas that people create to make our own fun, because Skate is very much that kind of game. And so
it is make your own fun's the best way to put it. And this reminds me of like Halo Forge mode or Minecraft, where like kind of even have a mix of the two, where Minecraft kind of is in a lot of ways like the standard for the community build something together type game, right? But also it is one of the best examples of a place that people just hang out while they're playing a game. Add that idea to Skate and add the complexities of something like Forge mode, which it sounds like they're doing with all the Plinko wall stuff. Like that's cool as hell. So I'm hopeful. I think that this could be scary, but I think is overall going to be a good thing. The right move for Skate.
Tim, let's hop in. Excuse me. Let's hop in to story number 2. Sony announces PlayStation Stars. This is Tom Phillips at Eurogamer. Sony has announced PlayStation Stars, a new customer loyalty program which will launch later this year. Access is open to all PlayStation owners with additional benefits for PlayStation Plus subscribers. PlayStation owners will acquire reward points by logging on and completing certain activities, which can then be redeemed for PSN wallet funds and other PlayStation Store products. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you'll also earn loyalty points on purchases made via the PlayStation Store. Certain activities will also reward you with digital collectibles, which Sony describes as, quote, digital representations of things that PlayStation fans enjoy, including figurines of beloved and iconic characters from games and other forms of entertainment, as well as cherished devices that tap into Sony's history of innovation, end quote. It sounds like points will be relatively easy to obtain, with a monthly check-in that will grant you a dollop of points simply for playing a game each month. For more involved challenges will reward you for winning tournaments, earning specific PlayStation trophies, or even being, quote, the first player to platinum a blockbuster title in your local time zone, end quote. And for those worried about those digital collectibles ever being tradable, Sony has already ruled this out. Quote, it's definitely not NFTs. Definitely not. You can't trade them or sell them. It is not leveraging any blockchain technologies and definitely not NFTs, end quote. And that comes from PlayStation's Grace Chen. That's what she confirmed to the Washington Post. So cool. It's so funny how quickly they got to get ahead of that.
Yeah, it's like digital collectibles. Everyone's like, no. They're like, don't worry, no, it's the good ones. It's the cool ones.
Is that something that excites you? Are you excited about the idea of digital collectibles?
No, not at all. But I understand, like, this stuff is it's neat. You know, I try to drop the word nifty into as many podcasts as I can, and this is nifty, I guess. But it goes back to me kind of being frustrated with Sony's strategy overall when it comes to the PlayStation Plus rebrand, rollout, whatever this is, where it's like, why wasn't this just all part of one big statement, right? Like, get people excited about the PlayStation ecosystem and like explain how this all feeds into it. I think at the end of the day, this is probably not going to mean much to many. You know, like, I think the Club Nintendo has a similar thing, and you kind of get the points, and eventually you can get like physical rewards or sometimes digital rewards. And sometimes that can be cool. It takes a really long time to get up there, but then over time, as a Nintendo fan, you end up buying a lot of Nintendo games. That's just how Nintendo works. And you eventually get enough to get something cool. And like, sometimes that's the Mario Galaxy 2 soundtrack on CD. And it's like, that's dope as hell. And then sometimes it's like, here's a picture of Lemmy Koopa, the JPEG.
They just get just a picture, just a JPEG.
And you're like, all right,
like,
I guess.
Cool.
I would have preferred Iggy.
Bought 5 games for this thing, but sure, why not?
Yeah.
My thing with this is, it reminds me a bit of what Nintendo does with the Nintendo Rewards, right? Where on the eShop, if you buy enough games, you get enough, I forget exactly what they're called. I think like coins, Nintendo coins or something like that, that you can then spend to get discounts on other digital games. I love that, and I've wanted that from these other companies, right? PlayStation and Xbox. And so like the fact that they're implementing something that seems akin to that, I'm down for. The rewards for this first platinum in your time zone thing, or getting rewards for getting certain trophies, I think that's awesome. That's something that I've been wanting for a long time, and I think a big portion of the audience has been asking for something along these lines. Of course, like, if they could go all in on it and make it for whatever platinum you get 1,000 points, and that can accumulate you can spend that on games type shit. That would be the dream. Totally. I don't know if that might be too far for them though, right? They might look at that and go, a lot of people get platinums, and a lot of people get cheap platinums, Greg Miller. Maybe we won't let that slide. But even if it's like select games, which I think under this PlayStation Stars program maybe could be the case, under select games, if you get the platinum, you could get access to a deal or a digital collectible. That stuff, I think, could be exciting and could be enticing for a certain group of players. And I think for that, this is a good idea.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, this is a good idea. I just don't think the implementation is going to be really flirting with the potential that this thing has, right? Because I do think, imagine like how addicted Greg is to platinums, right? And to just trophies in general. If they just kind of did things that enhanced that experience and made it better for him and also more welcoming to others, that's just creating more hardcore PlayStation fans. That's a good thing that they would want, right? I just don't see them going down that path fully. And in the same way that they don't mandate that your game has a platinum, I feel like they're not going to mandate that this is well implemented. But again, I don't think it's going to be bad. This isn't going to get in the way of anything. This isn't bad news. I just think that it would be way cooler if this was a focus of theirs and something that they really, really wanted to push as a big factor in their ecosystem, right? Especially when they're going up against the Xbox ecosystem at this point that has a lot of wins under its belt.
Yeah, and Xbox also has a lot of this stuff as well, especially with the reward stuff with Game Pass and the daily or weekly challenges that you can do there. Here's my ask, because I look at these digital collectibles and I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I'm getting a JPEG of Ratchet or a GIF of Clank or a VOD of Kit. Kit was that character? Right? You get a
VOD,
a PNG,
a fucking VOD. That's
a VOD is definitely not a file type.
A video on demand of Kit from Ratchet and Clank. Okay, bless.
It works.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't care about it as it exists now. But here's what I'll say: bring back PlayStation Home, Tim. PlayStation Home would have been perfect for this. If I could bring friends into my room and show them my collection of digital collectibles, think about how much more I would care about this.
Dude, on real talk, jokes aside, that is a good idea. Like, that is the type of thing
Speaking of ahead of its time.
Worth it. That's a metaverse I want to be in, bless. I want to be in one where I can walk in and at any moment turn on a VOD of Kit and look at my dancing gif of Clank, okay? And I walk into Bless's room, see what he has going on. I don't want to see
I'll be Genshin
2B.
2B. I mean, for sure. I'm gonna have a life-size 2B in my PlayStation Home room. I mean, are you kidding me, Tim?
Of
course.
But life size, what's that even mean in PlayStation Home? Like, how tall are you in PlayStation Home, Bless?
Oh man.
How tall are you in the metaverse?
In PlayStation Home, I'm super tall. I'm extremely tall. At least 5'8". At least 5'8".
Okay.
Very tall. Very, very tall.
Very tall, 5'8".
I'm a very tall 5'8" in PlayStation Home. Tim, I'm gonna bring us home and tell people about patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where you can go and get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Are people still trying to make plans with you this summer? As if you aren't booked and busy already. But thankfully, MeUndies wants to help make this summer the most comfortable one you will never forget. Because when you're living your best life, the last thing you want to worry about is butt sweat. And I know that from experience. But you know what? MeUndies has always been there to help me. I'm always wearing my MeUndies shirts, my lounge pants, my lounge shorts, my undies themselves, the socks. I'm a MeUndies fanboy. Wouldn't have it any other way. I just absolutely love the soft micro-modal fabric. Find your ultimate summer comfort in sizes extra small all the way up to 4XL. MeUndies has a great offer for all of you out there. For any first-time purchasers, you can get 15% off. For a limited time, if you sign up for the free to join MeUndies membership, you get 25% off your first membership item. To get 50% off your order, 25% off your first membership item, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/kindafunny. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny. Shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. When you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? Well, you don't want random passerbyers looking in on you, so why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Your internet service provider knows every single website you visit. ExpressVPN puts a stop to this. It creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I use ExpressVPN on all my devices, whether it's my phone, my desktop, everything. Anytime I'm using the internet, just because I am trying to stay as safe as possible. The best part is using ExpressVPN is as easy as closing the bathroom door. You just fire up the app, you click one button, and you're protected. It is so easy. It's the biggest button in the world. One click, you're done. So if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself today by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny. You can use our link, expressvpn.com/kindafunny, and you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this episode. I started taking AG1 because I'm not a big pill guy. I don't want to spend a lot of time on extra things, but I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of my health. Now, I've been using it the last couple months and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It has a fun tropical taste that I actually look forward to in the mornings. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focused, and aging. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/kindafunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Could have been any height, Bless. Any height, and you went with an extremely tall 5'8". I love that about you.
Because I mean, you can't get greedy.
That's so
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah.
You can't get greedy. Yeah, 5'8" is taller. Like, who needs to be taller than 5'8"?
Okay.
No.
If you're taller than
Literally
5'8",
no one.
it's like, what the fuck are
What
you
are
doing?
you doing up
Like,
there?
don't play in the. If you're taller than 5'8" and you're not in the NBA, what the fuck are you doing with
Figure
life?
your shit out.
Figure your
God.
shit out. God damn. Let's talk about story number 3. Nintendo has acquired an animation studio. This comes from John Porter at The Verge. Nintendo has acquired CG production company Dynamo Pictures and will rename it to Nintendo Pictures, the company has announced. The new subsidiary will focus on development of visual content utilizing Nintendo IP and the planning and production of visual content, including CG animation. The company's IMDb page lists credits on dozens of titles, including motion capture work on Death Stranding and Persona 5, and post-production work on Metroid Other M. The acquisition comes as Nintendo is gearing up for the most significant cinematic release in years, an animated movie based on the Super Mario Bros. Franchise starring Chris Pratt. The film is currently scheduled to release in spring next year, almost 30 years after the last major cinematic adaptation. 1993's live-action Super Mario Brothers,
Classic.
starring Bob
Classic.
Hoskins and Jacques Leguizamo. Is it a classic?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a classic for.
I don't know
not
if I
like-
call that one a classic.
It's definitely
Oh,
a classic.
it's
It's
a
not like
classic.
in like any way that
I
matters.
feel like
in a
classic's
good
gotta
way.
be good.
No,
I don't know if you can be a
No.
bad classic.
Yeah,
No.
you definitely can, and it's good. It's entertaining.
Okay.
Not as an adult, not
Yo,
to an intelligent person.
No, there's is
Like
it
a
a great
dumb
movie?
kid.
No. But the production design is fantastic. I
Mhm.
love the world of that movie. There's a lot of good in that movie.
Fantastic.
There's a lot of bad.
The production
Fantastic.
design.
Oh yeah, dude.
You remember how those Koopas looked?
Well, it
yeah.
was scary as fuck. They went the opposite. Instead of having giant heads, little tiny ones, big old
Little-
bodies.
Tiny ass heads with like the biggest bodies on there.
Yeah.
It didn't even look like
They
like
danced
what?
in the elevator.
The Koopas are little mushroom. I digress. And then also, of course, Nintendo put out a live action adaptation of Detective Pikachu based on the Pokemon franchise. That was released in 2019, which I guess is more Pokemon company than Nintendo. But you all get what I mean.
Mhm.
Tim, Nintendo Pictures. All the cool kids are doing it now.
Mhm.
Making their own production companies within their game companies.
Mhm.
How you feel about it?
Really good. I feel
Yeah.
really good, Bless. I feel like we've had a couple false starts over the last decade or so. I think that there was that time period where PlayStation Studios like first started. What was it, Powers, that they were talking about, where they were making TV shows that had nothing to do with their IP. It was just kind of like getting things started. On the Xbox side, there was like a bazillion false starts for things like Halo and all that. And now they're licensing it out. It's Paramount Plus and all that stuff. But the idea of Nintendo IP being turned into entertainment properties is very exciting to me. We're starting to see it with the theme parks. Obviously, we're getting the Mario movie that they're really going all in on, and like seems to be a big focus of Miyamoto specifically. The idea of a Legend of Zelda anime or
my God.
Metroid or whatever, it's exciting to me. I feel like we've gotten good hints over time of what this could be. There was like a little anime short of Star Fox that came out around Star Fox Zero, and it was really fun. It was really cool, and I was excited about it, and I would love to have seen more. And I think that this is a step in the right direction to be able to get that. I'm not familiar with the Dynamo Pictures and like their motion capture work on Death Stranding, Persona 5, post-production work on Metroid Other M. Like, I don't know what that actually means for what they are capable of, but I think this is cool. And I feel like we are at this era where video games have hit that mainstream appeal in a way that it's unprecedented. We haven't been here before. And I think that with more streaming platforms than ever, more people watching content and engaging with brands and franchises specifically, I think that there's a lot to be gained and hopefully a lot of fun to be had watching Nintendo shows. That sounds great to me.
Tim, first of all, I want to issue an apology. I misspoke. I called Koopas Goombas.
You did. I didn't want to hold you down, you know.
Yeah,
but
and I appreciate it, but this
that's
should be a thing
right,
that we're very
that's
clear
right,
about. Koopas
yeah.
are different from Goombas, but the point still fucking stands, right? Koopas are the fucking turtle creatures that look
Mhm.
nothing like what the Koopas looked like in the
Mhm.
movie, and
Well-
so 100% the same point.
Plus, I mean, on top of that, Toad is a little
my God.
mushroom man. He's not a like weird
Hippie.
strung out
Stoner?
hippie. But hey, you know what
Not
I mean?
wrong with that Mario
Artistic
movie.
liberties, okay, bless. It doesn't
I-
have to be 1-to-1, you
No
know.
such thing as too much artistic liberty. But anyway, like, you know, you mentioned Dynamo Pictures and what they're capable of, and I find it fascinating looking through and seeing that, yeah, they worked on Death Stranding, Persona 5, and then did post-production stuff on Metroid Other M, and that makes me wonder if this is we're acquiring them to do full length, you know, motion pictures, like things like the Mario movie or I forget if the Donkey Kong thing is rumored or confirmed, but the Donkey Kong movie that seems to be coming up as well. Or I wonder if this is more along the lines of, hey, let's do Overwatch shorts type stuff, right? Like, what if we could span or run the game or span the game or whatever of like doing short stuff to promote our games? Like maybe we have an upcoming Mario and we want to do here's a 10-minute little animation of Mario hanging out with his friends, or do that while we also have the full length. Now here's a Mario movie that is produced by a bigger film company or bigger production company with the means to be able to do something like that. That said, I'm also excited about this. I think this is a good idea. I think so many of us have wanted Nintendo to lean into making animations out of their IP because they have such lovable IP, and like Mario, of course, is the Mickey Mouse of video games. What if he could be the Mickey Mouse of film too? You know, like what if he can get in there and really what if you can really use that IP and really uplift it to now, okay, cool. Mario is just an IP now in the way that Sonic, of course, video game character, but Sonic also has a great movie. Sonic also had great cartoons. Sonic, I think, goes beyond just video games at this point.
Bless.
Not comparing Sonic to Mario as if Sonic is bigger than Mario, just to be clear. I know Mario's bigger, but you get what I mean.
2 hit movies at this point. Like that's something. Mario only has one movie.
And it's not
It's great.
Yeah.
and it's not a classic.
Oh Lord.
Couple things I want to say. One, spoilers, Super Mario Brothers, the movie ends with like a post-credit scene. And it's Daisy coming back, and she like opens Mario and Luigi's apartment in Brooklyn, and she has a gun, and she's
Huge
like,
gun.
"We gotta go." And then they never made the sequel. And I remember being a little kid and not understanding how movies worked and all that. And Kevin and I had grown up in a world where his mom got us Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, and we watched all of them back to back in one weekend. That we just thought, oh yeah, it ends. And when it says to be continued, the next one's available. Clearly, you know, I grew up in a world where I got to play
Star Wars
Mario
the same
1,
way.
2, and 3 back to back to back. You know what I mean?
Did you want to
And,
search for Mario Brothers 2?
I did. I remember going to different Blockbusters, and anytime I'd go, I'd ask them, like, "Do you guys, where's the second one? Like, what's going on?" And to this day, I'm still waiting. Still waiting, blessed. One day.
That is so
There should
funny.
be like a fan film. Someone should like figure this out. Get the cast back together.
Honestly,
Well, as
I
much as
would
they can.
enjoy a fan film sequel of the
Yeah.
original Mario Brothers movie. That I
Mhm.
would actually be into. I can't imagine being a worker at a family video back in 1998 and seeing a
Mhm.
young little Tim Geddes walk up and
Little
go,
Timmy.
little Timmy go, "Hey, do you have the Super Mario Brothers 2 movie?"
And they're
And
like,
me
"Oh,
being
you mean
like-
Doki Doki Panic?"
It's like, "Oh, you mean actually
That was a good joke,
that was
everybody.
a great joke. That was
Thank
a
you.
great joke." God damn. Tim's on fire today. Story number 4. Those
Hold on. Before we move on, last thing I want to say, totally
What's up?
unrelated to the Mario Brothers stuff, just talking about Nintendo movies, all right? I understand we all know exactly what we want to build to, but can you imagine, Bless, can you imagine one thing, all right? I want 2 very specific things, all right? We build up, boom, Super Smash Brothers, the movie. But then,
I
what do
love
we
it so
get?
much.
What's the sequel, Bless? What's the sequel? Subspace.
Oh
Emissary.
my god. I thought about this a lot, like how you would build up to a Super Smash Brothers movie. We did of course, the Next Gen podcast. That's me, Roger, and Barrett, where we bullshit for an hour. I want to say we did an episode months and months and months ago where I pitched a full length like Super Smash Brothers extended universe, where it is the cross paths of space and time, you know, space being the Star Foxes, the Samuses, the Captain Falcons, and then Zelda, and Kirby you can throw in space too. And then like, you know, Zelda and Link and all that stuff is more so like, here's us dealing with time, right? And like, It is a time-space crisis that you have to meet in the middle for to defeat Master Hand and also eventually Taboo and Subspace Emissary. I've thought about this shit,
Good.
and I think
I'm
this
with
shit
you.
would be dope.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo, make it happen.
Make it happen.
You know what
After
else
you
I
make
want?
the Super Mario Brothers 2 movie.
After you do that, yeah, of course. You know what else I want
Luigi's
somebody to make
Revenge.
happen? What's he getting revenge for?
Them killing Mario.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I know.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, that's Luigi's Mansion, you know?
goddamn.
No,
Story
'cause
number
then we're
4.
gonna have a CG ghost of Bob Hopkins, and nobody wants that.
Story number 4. Those
Goddamn.
delisted Metal Gear games could make a comeback. This is Chris Scullion at Video Games Chronicle. Konami has stated that it is preparing to reinstate Metal Gear titles that had been previously delisted from digital stores. Today marks the 35th anniversary of the original Metal Gear, and the official Japanese Metal Gear Twitter account posted a tweet celebrating the occasion. First of all, happy birthday, Metal Gear. All right? You've lived a strong, healthy life. I guess healthy until the last like 5 years,
alright.
but you can get back
Yeah.
in there. You can get back there. Today marks the 35th anniversary. However, awkwardly, fans still can't play many series entries on modern consoles due to them having been pulled from storefronts last year. Konami said on Wednesday that the games would soon return. Quote, the Metal Gear series launched on July 13th, 1987. It celebrates its 35th anniversary today. We're preparing to resume the sale of titles that had been temporarily suspended. The statement likely specifically relates to Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, which had been removed from sale in November 2021 because, according to Konami, some of the real-life archive footage used in them had been licensed and those licenses were now expired. Quote, we're currently working on renewing the licenses for select historical archive footage used in-game. Therefore, we have made the temporary decision to begin suspending the sale of Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and all products that include these games from digital storefronts globally starting November 8th, 2021, a statement read at the time. Quote, we sincerely ask for your patience and understanding as we work towards making these products available again for purchase. Tim, I remember talking about this before, right? How these games got delisted. I forgot it was because of the archival historical footage that they put in there. That's still a wild story the more I think about it.
It is, yeah. And, you know, they're trying to get it back. Like, this is good steps forward. Again, we keep talking about the archival of video game history and stuff, and Metal Gear's no stranger to that. They've had their share of delistings over time, but hey, good on you guys. Get them relisted. Classics.
Get them relisted, please. Story number 5. Resident Evil 2 Remake has now sold over 10 million copies. This is Ed Nightingale at Eurogamer. Capcom's Resident Evil 2 Remake has now sold over 10 million copies since its release in 2019. Capcom shared the news on Twitter with a parody image of an endgame ranking beside a typewriter. It received a triple S, of course. The news follows the recent update to the game for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, adding 4K support, ray tracing, and improved frame rates. Big congratulations, Resident Evil 2
yeah,
Remake.
man.
Very much deserves it.
Dude, I've been thinking a lot about Resident Evil 2 Remake because Andy's been playing it. We've been talking a lot about it with him. I was joking that he was actually the 10 million sale here. So everyone go thank Andy for his work out here for making this a news story. But no, good on Capcom, man. Like, they made some banger titles here. They did such a good job with RE2 and they're getting success with it and they deserve it. Like, I feel like Resident Evil was in a very bad place. And in the last couple of years, they've turned that around. And I know Resident Evil 3 isn't as good as Resident Evil 2, but it's great. And I can't wait for Resident Evil 4 next year. I can't believe it's happening. I really can't, but it is, and that's exciting.
We got Resident Evil 7. That was fantastic. A Resident Evil 8 or Village, both I guess are the same thing. We got that. That was, pretty good. And Resident Evil is in such a great place right now.
Yeah,
and I'm
way better than the medium.
Way better than the medium, of course. And I'm somebody who I've only recently become a bigger fan of Resident Evil, and that started with Resident Evil 2 Remake, which for me was one of the best games that year in 2019, which was already a very strong year for video games. Resident Evil 2 Remake came through and really laid it down in terms of, oh yeah, we got the fidelity, we got the game design, we got the action, we got the horror, and we're bringing something that is an old ass video game that had tank controls that was on the PS1 and N64, and bringing it into a modern era in a way that can compete with other modern games in a reimagining that I think is probably one of the best remakes of all time. Like, good on you, Resident Evil 2 Remake, for being able to do that. And yeah, I can't wait for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like, that's one that I hope does or has like a similar level of impact in terms of how it's received and how it blows us away. I hope it's not as much of a Resident Evil 3, because I agree with you that game is pretty good, but also if compared to Resident Evil 2, it felt like such a step down, and I don't want that to happen to Resident Evil 4. So fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Story number 6, Assassin's Creed Rift is reportedly set in Baghdad. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Ubisoft's next Assassin's Creed game reportedly takes place in Baghdad. That's according to Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier, who was responding to a claim made earlier on Wednesday that the next series entry has an Aztec setting. Quote, the next AC game is Rift, which is set in Baghdad, he wrote. Quote, after that will be AC Infinity, and while that's going to include a bunch of different games / experiences / biomes / whatever you want to call them, I've heard about the main two, and neither of them are Aztec, end quote. While not officially announced, it's been claimed that Ubisoft is planning to release a smaller scale, stealth-focused Assassin's Creed game this year or in 2023. Codenamed Rift and starring Assassin's Creed Valhalla character Basim, the title was originally planned as an expansion for the most recent series entry before being spun into a standalone game last year, Bloomberg reported in February. So there you go. Yeah, one more standalone Assassin's Creed before we get into Infinity.
Kind of interesting. I like this idea of them doing a smaller scale stealth focused Assassin's Creed. Like, can you imagine if they went back to basics and just had a year where it wasn't the giant Odyssey or Origin, but it was a bit more like the old school Assassin's Creed 2 type gameplay? I think that could be pretty cool, especially as they are about to get into Infinity and then eventually get to Japan.
Yeah. Like, you think they're going to go to Japan?
They have to at some point.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima already did it. Ghost of Tsushima already perfected it. You're not gonna be better than that.
I know, but like, they still have to try.
They're late to the game. I also think this is a good idea, especially if this next one is. I mean, they're saying it's based off of Basim from the previous Assassin's Creed game, and so I don't know what that means for the kind of Assassin's Creed game it is. But them saying it's small scale and stealthy makes me think and hope that it is. Hey, no, here's a more traditional Assassin's Creed games like the classic ones you love, right? Assassin's Creed 2, maybe not 3, 4, the ones that helped really define what the franchise was early on before they redefined it again with Origins and Odyssey. Having a double hit sort of situation where we have these small standalone ones, and then Infinity is the big gigantic RPGs that you have in Origins and Odyssey, could help for them to have their cake and eat it too, in a way that satisfies both sections of that audience, and then also helps keep Assassin's Creed fresh. I think that could be really cool. And so I'm so curious to see what this ends up being, and then also what Infinity ends up being.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for the upcoming Ubisoft Forward? Because they have one coming up. I believe they said in September. I imagine that at that point, this is coming out next year. It's not gonna be this fall.
Yeah. I don't think it's this fall. I think we kind of know Ubisoft's fall lineup at this point. I don't know. I feel like Ubisoft is in dire need of a reset point right now in terms of like their slate, in terms of their game lineup, and what expectations are for them. Because what a Ubisoft game is, I feel like has went through multiple iterations in the last couple of years. And I think we're in this really awkward place where it feels like there's not like positive momentum forward for Ubisoft for the first time in a long time. Like there was always like jokes we could make about Beyond Good and Evil and things like that. But then there was always a steady cadence, it felt like, of them kind of like they had their E3 showcases, and every year there'd be at least a couple fun things announced. Mm-hmm. And there was like kind of something for everyone. And it feels like in the last couple of years, they've really stripped down their offerings in a lot of ways of like what Ubisoft games are even coming out, and the way that they make games, with so many games as a service being their kind of bread and butter with the more live service games now, right?
Yeah, like they've not had a Ubisoft Forward in a while now, and with them skipping E3 season / Summer Game Fest season, I wonder if that means that this upcoming Ubisoft Forward is going to be jam packed with stuff that are coming out in the next couple of years.
I get Nintendo vibes from them right now, where I think that this is going to be more of a let's just talk about the things we got, as opposed to this being this is the big one and let's move forward. And I feel like they need that thing, but they also need to talk about the games that they have coming this year. I imagine Avatar is going to be a focus. I imagine that's probably going to be
the big headliner.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Skull and Bones, they still need to talk more about.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Skull and Bones comes out in November, the day before God of War. You have what was the one you just mentioned right before Skull and Bones?
Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar, I believe, is slated for this year. I forget if that has a solid release date.
I don't remember, actually.
Did that get delayed? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if people were like, "Oh no, it's been delayed for a while."
I mean, Avatar is being released in theaters in September, and then the sequel comes out in December. I got to imagine that Ubisoft would want the game to come out in November. So
yeah, but like right next to Skull and Bones.
I don't think they care about Skull and Bones, man. They just want that shit out.
It's like, just shit it out. Like, just get it out of here.
Just get it
I've
out,
been working on this
man.
forever, man. And so there's a country government that's paying for this thing. Just put it out. Yeah, it's fascinating, right? When we're talking about what's going on with Ubisoft right now, it is Avatar, it is Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and then it is God damn, I'm blanking. I keep blanking on the
Avatar?
Ubisoft games. No,
Oh.
I said Avatar.
No,
What's the third
gotcha.
one? God damn, I don't know what's happening to my brain today. Skull and Bones, thank you. Thank you.
okay.
It's these 3 games. It's because they're all forgettable, God damn it. Except for
Yeah.
maybe Mario and Rabbids. I know you guys like that one. But that's what's happening for them right now. And I feel like for them to do Ubisoft Forward and just focus on that, like, that'll be good for the games that are coming out this fall. But I feel like by the time we get to January, it's gonna be like, all right, man, like, what's up? What's going on?
Yeah,
dude?
totally. And that's the thing is, I think they need a reset point of a new understanding of what a Ubisoft's upcoming slate looks like. And the thing is, there are some exciting questions, right? Like, where is the Star Wars game? When are we going to get whatever that is from them, right? And I think that it's going to have to be shown off soonish, at least announced in a more formal way than just we're making a Star Wars game. So that's exciting. I am hopeful that Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake is eventually going to come out and be in good.
At the very least, not anytime soon. The latest news on that game is that they gave it to a different studio to work on.
Yeah,
that shit doesn't exist at this point anymore. But hey, we'll see. You know, like, I expect this boss theme Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Rift, will probably be in their Ubisoft Forward as well. And then maybe we get a hint of Infinity. That could be exciting for it. Maybe we get Far Cry DLC or a spin-off standalone Far Cry game like they like to do. You know, like, maybe we get an update on Beyond Good and Evil 2. Maybe we get Division Heartland. There's a lot of maybes out there for Ubisoft.
Yeah. Ubisoft's in a weird place for me right now, where I've always kind of been a bigger fan of some of the lesser IP, and at times they weren't lesser, but Prince of Persia, Rayman was always a big one for me. And I would love for them to make another Rayman Origins, Rayman Legends, like in that 2D style. Those were such fantastic video games. And it just seems like they're not doing that anymore. You know, like the UbiArts engine UbiArts project was so great. And I just feel like they just stopped and they've totally changed their game. I just want to know, what is Ubisoft now? I feel like they need to answer that question. It feels like they don't know.
We'll see. Maybe the Ubisoft Forward will ignite hope in us. At the very least, we'll see Seth McKean, and that'll bring us joy. Final news story. Story number 7. Escape Academy has announced a season pass roadmap. This comes from a press release they released this morning. Kevin, in assets, I actually put the image of the roadmap in there if you want to pull it up real quick for the people. But basically, it's the image that you see all the time whenever people put up the roadmaps, right? Of the 4 images and then what they have planned for each season. And so right now, of course, July 14th, the game is launching. They have the first DLC planned for fall 2022 called Escape from Anti-Escape Island, which they say will include 5 new escape rooms. They then will have a free major update coming in early 2023, and then DLC 2, Escape from the Past, that drops in spring 2023, which will include another 5 new escape rooms, which really exciting. I was not expecting this from this game. When Greg was talking about it during the Gamescast review, which you can check out right now, one of the things that I found to be a little bit of a bummer was him saying that, yeah, once you're done with the content, you're pretty much done with the content. Like, it's not procedurally generated, and there's not a challenge mode or anything like that. And Escape Academy, to me, seems like a game that would benefit so much from, oh yeah, no, come back for another hit of escape room madness, right? Like, have fun, have, like, you know, bring whatever friend you have that might enjoy this kind of thing, and like get back and regularly solve these different changing puzzles. The fact that they're adding in DLC with multiple new escape rooms seasonally is such a good move for it, and it makes me really excited for this game. So go get him, Escape Academy.
Bless, just a note for the future. I can't actually do anything with an image that's embedded into the dock.
It has to be a link.
Yeah, a link.
Gotcha. Okay.
You can always include an image and then a link underneath for me. Otherwise, like, I can't even copy and like I can't download this image and then open it as a save.
Usually I do a link. This is one that I literally, like, Greg Miller sent me, and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just throw it in there. But cool.
Yeah, no worries. If just again, future thing, just you could always Slack that to me or toss it into assets.
Got you, baby. Tim, I can't wait to see how good these Escape Academy new escape rooms are. But DLC 1 is just so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom grab shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Do 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Out today, we got Azure Striker Gunvolt 2 for Xbox, League of Legends Wild Rift Patch 3.3, Serious Fun Football for PC, XEL for Switch, Mothman 1966 everywhere, Superola Champion Edition everywhere, Escape Academy everywhere. It's also on Xbox Game Pass if you want to play it that way. Dinkum for PC, Pascal's Wager Definitive Edition for Switch, Spider Sores for everywhere.
Spider Sores.
Spider Sores, that's
Nope.
everywhere. That sounds terrifying.
I don't want that.
Worth Life for Switch, Meteora for PC. Ooh,
Meteora.
Zerthos, the Heir of Thunder for Switch. Clanful Rumbleverse is launching August 11th with Season 1 starting a week later.
Cool.
Sega Genesis Mini 2 blasts its way to...
Couple bangers, but like, we're on the Sega Genesis Mini 2? Like,
That's fair. No, that's fair. It's like, what's left?
Yeah.
2 Point Campus is coming to PC and consoles on August 9th, and then Multiversus Open Beta will begin on July 26th, available for PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC with full crossplay support.
Yes.
Now it's time for kindoffunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in, let us know what we... And then 8LWT Gaming says, Avatar, Massive Entertainment's newly named Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, yada, yada, yada. I guess this is from the original press release where they say it's going to come out sometime in 2022.
Maybe.
It's fair enough.
I'm excited for the movie. I'm not excited for the game, but could be okay.
Tomorrow's hosts for Kind of Funny Games Daily are Tam and Lucy for that game with Mike and Nick. That should be a very fun one. Escape Academy is a very fun game. Mike and Nick, very fun people. If you want to catch that here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. So stick around for that. But before we go, Tim Geddes, what's up?
Les, before I let you leave, you have a flight that you have to catch. You have to leave. See, I wasn't making up the end of the Super Mario
today's
Brothers
Friday?
movie.
Oh,
Okay. You need to see
Wait,
this.
where did you send this to me?
I sent it to Assets.
Did you send it as a link? Because that was a close one.
Oh, yeah.
Luigi, Mario!
Smile, man.
We were robbed. Where's the sequel?